Okay, what I'm doing here, I'm putting together this brake booster. This is what sidelined the 1960 Pontiac, the Bonneville, in the first place. So I took it apart. It wasn't working properly, mainly because of this. Whoever assembled it, it was cleaned up, but whoever assembled it, uh, automatic transmission fluid got all over this hose, which it shouldn't. So you can see it's all dilated. And then just putting the clamp, it caused it to tear there because this hose constantly moves. According to the guide, the GM guide, you're actually supposed to use glue anyway. You're not supposed to use these clamps. But the company that rebuilds these sent me a new hose and clamps anyway, so I'm going to try to keep the ATF away from that area. So what I'm doing is I'm just finishing up assembly. This leather tube, this leather strip here, this is the inner piston, this unit right here. This is what divides the vacuum inside the main canister here. So I'm going to put this strip in here that puts pressure on the leather seal, which makes the difference of vacuum between the two sides. Oh, and what I'm doing here is just soaking this piece of felt in ATF per the shop manual. It was actually installed dry, and the repair shop gave me this little bag of, I must have it in the other room, of grease. I'll go get it. Okay. Yeah, they gave me this special rubber grease that's going to go inside that back plate area. I'm just squeezing out the excess transmission fluid. I don't think this thing's supposed to be dripping in it. I think it's just supposed to, be soaked in it, and that's enough. So this part right here is what kind of puts the pressure against that leather seal. And let's put that. Looks like all these parts are brand new. It's kind of cool, but whoever put it together just screwed up the seal in there. And sorry for the lighting. I do have new lighting on the way. That's been top priority. You can only do one thing at a time. Okay, so this expander ring, when you put it in, where the expander ring is orientated here. So the felt ring, the overlap is opposite of where the expander ring was. So we're going to make sure that's 180 degrees out of phase. There we go. And yeah, I can feel the tension the expander ring has on the leather seal in here. So let's see. It's a pretty tight fit, actually. Let me try to pull this together. But yeah, the guy that put this together, he did it the wrong way. Everything in here is done wrong. I'm surprised it got through quality control or whatever they have at that shop. He had them together, where the ends are, he had the expander ring and the felt in the same position. Okay, now you put this lock ring in place, and that pushes it all together. So let's see. It's pretty all straightforward, really. This is the easier brake booster. The other ones are a little bit more complicated. I read them over in the shop manual. The Moraine one. This is the Bendex one. It's more of an assist. It has a neat little mechanism, though. If you slam on the brakes, apparently it keeps It lets the ratio work the way you push with the pedal instead of just prematurely overcoming your pressure with the vacuum and locking up the brakes. Okay, so I got all that together. I want to dry up any of this loose ATF. Okay, and then the next secret is getting this hose on here, and you definitely don't want any automatic transmission fluid in conjunction with that hose. Oh, the next step actually is to secure, so we got this air filter material here, and so this is the unit that goes from the carburetor vacuum to the vacuum storage tank. So this, special screws for that. Yeah, that guy that put this together, everything seems off. Yep, it matches the threads, but this wouldn't be the screw that I'd choose. Needs a bigger head, I think. So yeah, this side goes up against the firewall. And if I didn't say it before, this hose goes to the carburetor, to your manifold vacuum. This goes to your storage tank. There we go. So there's, see there? Goes to the left. And then we are going to put this hose on here now. And then the next step after that is to grease up the grease up the canister here. So, and you can see in the camera here, the angle, well, it's supposed to be canted out. That's why we bent these fingers on this expander ring. But it's not flat, you know. It's got to have a cone-shaped effect in there. So anyway, this is the way the hose goes, just like so. This is the top of the unit. And it says put it on 5/8 of an inch. That hose there. Slide it on. The guy cut it a little bit short for me. So we'll put it on about right here. That's about 5/8. And like I said, the shop manual does say to use some rubber cement, which I don't have here. So the clamp should do fine, but I'm not going to tighten these clamps too much because I think it'd be alright if this thing can pivot a little bit. Well, it is rubber, it's going to move anyway, so I'm not going to gouge these suckers down like what happened last time. There we go, that's not going anywhere. Alright, so the tough part here now is to put this back plate on and match it up with the hose here. I really can't get this in the camera, but you can see right there how it's going to go. Gee whiz, come on, come on. Part of the problem is I looked at that light and I got a burn in my eyes, so I can't see this darn thing. The trick is to do this without putting pressure back on this leather ring, because you don't want to bend those expansion fingers down. Well, the ultimate test will be if it works or not. Okay, there we go. So now that unit moves quite a bit. Yeah, there's plenty of room for it to move now. Okay, now the next part is the messy part. Now there's adjustment here too for the master cylinder, but that was already done by the so-called professional that put this thing together, so I'm not going to touch it. We'll wait till the thing is in the car and see how that all works. So the next part, this points straight down, and it's got some waxy coating in here already, but the guy said, you know, it's like they threw it together and didn't even look, because the grease they're supposed to include in here was not in there at all. This company in Georgia apparently put this thing together. It doesn't match up with anything that the shop manual says to do. So we need to prop this up on a board or something so this piston doesn't stop me from bolting it back together. We think, what do I have here? You know what? We'll just use there we go, the perfect thing. There. So I'm just going to assemble it on this can here. The first thing, I'm going to put the grease in here. Alright, glad I only have one glove on. I cut my hand, that's why I got this one on, but when you do grease, of course, it's much easier without a glove. So this is some type of rubberized vegetable-based grease, and we're going to, I'm just going to wipe this around the whole diameter. The guy that owns this company that rebuilds these, he sent it, so I know it's the right stuff. Yeah, this company that rebuilt it, I can probably come up with one conclusion, because I hate to say the bad things about some company, but when I opened this up, it sure didn't follow what the manual says. Over time, you know, people come up with improvements, but a couple things just didn't make sense. And what I'm guessing happened was the guy that I bought this car from, he was having a problem with the brakes. He sent that off before I bought it. He probably put him in a rush or on a weekend, said, I need this back now, you know. So when you do that, you always get stuff done wrong, especially if maybe there's a new guy and they just threw it to him. So hurry up and get this thing done. Or that could have been. So this is I read about it. It's a non-lithium based grease because the lithium attacks these non-metallic surfaces, apparently. So that's good to know if you're doing this, not to just grab the grease that you think is really awesome stuff. Yeah, it's probably awesome stuff, but not when it comes to non-metallic surfaces. You know, silicone spray is great on non-metallic surfaces, but I'm just trying to spread. They don't give me a lot, so I'm spreading it thin. It's great on non-metallic surfaces, but it doesn't stay put. It doesn't last very long. Now this is totally closed off from the elements. It's got that filter where it exhale, you know, where the vacuum can release from. And there's a seal that goes here on your master cylinder. I'm glad I opened it up. I'm glad I had that one problem, because I wouldn't have been able to, it wouldn't have worked anyway. There we go. We've got plenty of grease on this thing. And then the last part now is to assemble it. So this is the top here. So we got it just like that. We're going to put, oop, I need my Phillips. Okay, there's that. Where's the screws? I put them over here. Don't forget your spring, most important thing. That goes right here. And let's put the piston and backing cover at the right orientation. So this is the bottom on the rear, and that is the top. Should have marked it with a marker, make it a little bit easier. So here we go, without touching that leather gasket. It's It's going to go right in like so. Cool. That was easy enough. All right, now that I got it lined up. Yep, the diaphragm moves in and out nice and smooth. Let's put these screws in. Let's just get 4 screws in here and check the operation. Okay, we got that torqued down a little bit. Okay, yeah, the piston is still in there. So that goes like so. So this gets sealed off here. So now the question is, how smooth is this? I should be able to feel the air coming through here. A big force of air. Yeah, I can. Yep. So it is sealed. If I had a vacuum pump, of course, you could test it out. So what happens is when you push there's vacuum constantly coming through, and the second you push the plunger, there's a little movement, and that's what locks on the vacuum to do the assist right there. So how this works, so it doesn't just suck vacuum and take it to the floor all the time, when you just barely touch your foot on this is the master cylinder side, by the way. So this is pushing the master cylinder. So the second you just touch your foot to the brake pedal, there's a little slight movement. It's like a switch. So there's a gap between a piece of rubber in there and an O-ring, and as soon as it shuts, seals, it lets the vacuum divert into this front chamber here, just like a switch. And what I don't quite understand is how the vacuum assists without overcoming. But I guess the valve body size, the orifice in there is so small, it limits it. But anyway, that's how it works anyway. So if you jam on it, it's just assisting a certain percentage at a time. See if I can get a better close-up of that valve movement here. Whoops. You can hear it. That little slapping noise in there. There. I'm holding this steady, and now you can see the movement. It's just it's like a 1/16 of an inch. And I didn't get it on camera, but I took the thing apart to that level, and you could see the little inner piston in there that moves. So anyway, now back to the Pontiac, and we'll finish putting in those brake lines and fuel lines, and then getting the engine back in shape to start up. Okay. And if you enjoyed these types of videos, I'd appreciate it if you'd subscribe to us. At least hit the like button, and that will get us up higher in the algorithm. Of course, we've got a lot of plans here, so I think you'll enjoy it. Thanks, and take care.